Welcome to Scene Invaders. I'm Bagface, that is Dan, and do we have something special for you today? Oh my god, we both just went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine. We wanted to give you our initial thoughts, what we thought about the movie, how we feel about it. This is gonna be no spoilers. I don't want to spoil a goddamn thing. I'm so happy that I didn't know anything going into this movie because, oh, it hits hard.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
Initial thoughts, Dan. What'd you think of the movie?
Well, first off, all of the a lot of the things that I didn't know that I was surprised about, like some of the cameos, were so cool. I didn't know about most of them.
I know. Neither did I.
Really cool, especially the one, the big one. That was amazing. Amazing. My theater jumped up and clapped. It was so loud in there.
So many times.
It felt like the theater was back. It was like that for Dune too. But the parking lot was packed. The theater was buzzing. I haven't seen it like that in forever outside of Dune 2. And it was just so nice to be back in that environment. Dude, you see my Thanos shit right here? I'm an MCU fanboy. I love MCU. It's back, baby. It's back.
I am firmly in the it's back camp now because that shit... Yeah, like you were saying, I haven't seen a theater pack like that. I don't even know for Dune. Like, Dune was pretty popular, but...
Not like this. Yeah.
Barbie. I think Barbie was the last time I saw a theater, and I was like, every person I can see right now is going to one single movie. The theater I was in, they sold out of Wolverine popcorn buckets before I even got popcorn, which I'm really sad about because they were so fucking cool. Thoughts on the movie, it just blew all my expectations out of the water. The fight choreography right off the start, you just get it. It's in the trailers. Some of the stuff from the start of the movie is in the trailers. Most of it is the first 30 minutes in the trailers, which I really enjoyed because it left a whole lot of surprises towards the end. But the fight choreography right away, amazing. The opening is fucking iconic. So good. A lot of the jokes landed. I was a little nervous because I just watched the first 2 Deadpool movies just so I could be like right up to date. I was a little nervous that Ryan Reynolds' humor might be played out, but they really kind of towed the line really well. They rode the line really well between like too much Ryan Reynolds and then kind of laughing at his sense of humor and his portrayal of Deadpool within the movie itself.
The shitting on Fox was so funny.
Oh yeah,
I loved all of that was great.
They poke fun at literally everyone you could possibly imagine in this movie. They bring in a lot of real life stuff. So if you know a lot of the history of Marvel movies that have fallen through the Fox buyout and even relationships in real life, there was a lot of real life relationships like breakups and stuff that they talk about or they hint at in the movie that if you know, then you know, and some of the jokes land even harder than they should. The only thing I guess that I had a hold up about was like a couple of the CGI shots. I was like, that's a little rubbery, a couple of them, but it felt fine. It was honestly, I don't mind giving it a pass because it was so cool in the moment. I'm trying not to spoil anything. I just want to talk about literally everything right now.
The part of bringing Logan back, bringing Wolverine back, totally works the way they do it.
Yeah.
Totally works, especially with like the initial setup. And then they're like, oh, they're going that route. And then they're like, no, we're going this route. And it just totally works. It was perfect. I loved it.
It's a very well-meaning love letter to the fans of not just MCU, but just comic book movies in general. Like from the start of comic book movie existence to where we are now, they pretty much cover everything that hasn't been covered by other movies. And it felt so good. It's like the perfect fan service movie. It reminds me of No Way Home in that way, where it was fan service. It was clearly just fan service at certain points, but it was fan service that we wanted so bad, and to get that from a studio that hasn't really been listening to the fans of its content for the past 4 or 5 years, to finally have this movie come out and stake a claim, almost like you see in real time that the Marvel ship is beginning to turn, and it's recognized its flaws and it's making adjustments. And I feel like this movie is the first sign that we have that the MCU is maybe back on track. There's a few movies coming up I'm still iffy on, but this gives me a lot of hope for the future, which is something I didn't think I'd ever have again.
They really needed this. Kevin Feige called this an 8 in terms of impact for the MCU, where he would call Infinity War a 9 and Endgame a 10. So he thinks that this movie's that important for the future of the MCU. And I think it really does revitalize the franchise. It brings it back where people were tired. No one was going to see the movies. The numbers were in the garbage.
Yeah.
And this one's going to make $1 billion easy. It was so good. My theater was so into it. There were so many times people were clapping, laughing, having a great time at the theater. And that's all you want, right?
It felt so good, man. I went and saw this with someone, and I was like, hey, just so you know, there's going to be a lot of screaming and freaking out by a bunch of nerds. And it was a person who hadn't experienced that before, which is kind of funny to me, because that is the best theater experience to me, is going to these superhero movies and just screaming at the top of my lungs with a bunch of other people that know the most niche things in pop culture. Yeah, man, it just felt so damn good to feel like you're just a part of something in a moment. And that's what these movies used to capture really well, is just a moment where you feel like you're in a room with a bunch of people who think exactly like you, who had the same childhood as you growing up. They watched the same shit, they enjoyed the same things, they have the same sense of humor, and it just felt so good to be back in that environment. So I'm so happy that this movie exists at this time right now.
Yeah, the costumes were great. Like you said, the fight choreography was great. I think the villain was good.
Music.
All of it.
The music choices were fantastic.
Perfect. Especially the ending one. It was such a blast, man. I'm so happy. I'm kind of relieved in the same aspect, because like I said, I'm a big MCU fan, and I have not enjoyed myself lately. Yeah. It's been rough. It has been really rough. And I think they were kind of overdoing it, and now they're going to kind of step back and be like, all right, what are we doing here? Let's think about how to make this thing good again. And I think this movie is going to kick it off in the right direction. What's going to be big is how good the new Captain America movie is going to be. That's going to be very important. I think it looks all right from the trailers that I've seen. But this does really shoot things off back on the right track. For sure.
God, I hope that it continues in this direction. We're gonna go before we start getting into spoiler territory, because my mouth is just aching right now to talk about it. We'll probably put up a second video where we talk about spoilers. We'll get a little deeper into everything that we loved about the movie.
If you guys want one, comment below.
Exactly. Leave a comment below. Also, leave comments below telling us what you thought of the movie. Try not to leave any spoilers in the comments, because that's uncool. And I don't want anyone to not go into this movie fresh as hell, because what a ride. What a blast. So much fun. We'll see you guys later this week. Monday or Tuesday, our House of the Dragon video is going to drop. We didn't do one last week because it was my birthday, and that was my birthday present to myself, is a little less editing this week. We start a new show this week. It's called Sunny. It's on Apple TV. I love it so far. I'm only on episode 2. We're going to cover the first 1 to 4 episodes, and then the new one that drops on Wednesday in our next video. So make sure that you stick around, click that stuff, because it's going to be a lot of fun. If you haven't yet, there's a join button right below this video. If you click that, you can get access to our Discord. It's so much fun in there right now. I'm having so much fun. We got a bunch of new members. So, you know, we're playing Wordle together and sending memes and making a lot of jokes. So if that interests you, if you want to talk to us one-on-one, join the Discord, hit that button. $1 a month will get you in. And yeah, that's all we got. First movie review that Dan has done.
My first one. I usually do TV shows, but there you go.
Tell us how he did in the comments, because he was very nervous. I think he did great, but I'm biased because I love Dan. So, all right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.
Later.